Ohio. Niagara Falls, the city. Since 1904. In the southern part of the province of Ontario, Canada. Around a so-called Gold Horseshoe, the International Tourist Centre. It is nicknamed the Canadian Las Vegas. In close proximity to Niagara Falls. The city of the same name in the USA is located on the opposite bank of the River of Niagara. The city of Niagara Falls is located on the left, western bank of the River of Niagara in the southern part of the province of Ontario, in her most densely populated part known as Golden Horseshoe. The Gold Horseshoe. Niagara Falls is included into the area Niagara, representing agglomeration from 12 settlements, and is the second in population city of this agglomeration after St. Catharines. On the left side from the city there passes Queen Elizabeth Way, Q Highway, which is coming to an end at this bridge. In east part of Lake Erie. Departing from Q Highway 420 passes through Niagara Falls and comes to an end at Rainbow Bridge, connecting the Canadian Niagara Falls to the city namesake in the state of New York. The distance from Niagara Falls to Toronto makes 130 kilometers on the highway, which is bending around the westernmost tip of Lake Ontario. For Niagara Falls, the humid continental climate softened by proximity of the Great Lakes is characteristic. Within the 16th, 17th century along the Niagara River, the American natives from the tribe lodged. The name Niagara came from language of this tribe. The European settlers in this area appeared at the end of the 18th century and in the majority represented the Loyalists emigrating from the USA. In 1790, on the left coast of Niagara, laying of Porter's Road originating in Queenstown, after Queenston, and coming to an end near the mouth of the Chippewa River, where it was constructed, Fort Chippewa ended. In 1800, the settlement of Draminsville was founded. During Anglo-American War, Fort Chippewa and the next Fort Erie were occupied by the American troops, whose attempt further to seize the Fort George in the territory of the modern city of Niagara at Dare Lake was broken after tactical defeat in battle at Landis Lane. In 1822, on Porter's Road, the first hotel for the tourists coming to look at Niagara Falls was constructed. By 1850, on the place modern Niagara Falls, there were already two more settlements, Clifton and Elgin. The last was constructed in the place where in 1848, through the gorge on which Niagara proceeds, the first bridge was thrown. In 1853, Niagara was reached by the railroad. Further, everything new bridges connected the Canadian and American coast of Niagara. In 1856, Clifton and Elgin united to the city, which kept the name Clifton. In 1881, this city was renamed into Niagara Falls. The same year, Draminsville also replaced the name with Niagara Falls. Two settlements with the same name in close proximity from each other existed till 1904, when they were integrated. The population united Niagara Falls made 1,700 people. In 1905, close Niagara Falls, there began work 3 hydroelectric power stations with a general power over 350 megawatts. Subsequently, the center of an electrical power complex was displaced to the north, towards Queenston, where in 1921 the first stage of hydroelectric power station of Adambeck with a power of 373 megawatts, and in 1954 the second turn, with power over 1200 megawatts opened. In the 1920th years in the region, the tourist boom amplifying as motor transport forced out the railroads as the main vehicle begins. It led to decline of the old city center constructed around the railway station and fast development of the trade and tourist area on the former Clifton Place, in close proximity to Falls. In 1963 Niagara Falls united with the city of Stamford, and in 1973 also Crewland absorbed the village Fort Chipava and partially the cities of Willoughby. The Commission for Barbs of Niagara founded in 1885, whose activity led to gradual cultivation of the Canadian coast of Niagara and to change of the wild woods with the well-groomed park contributed to the development of tourism. According to a population census, in 2011 to Niagara Falls about 83,000 people -1% more than in 5 years lived before. In general, on the province of Ontario, increase in population in 5 years was much more -5.7%. Population density made the 396 people per square kilometer. Average age of the population Niagara Falls, 43.3 years, was higher than on average in the province, 44 years, and the percent of children aged up to 15 years was lower, 15.6% -17%. The average size of family to Niagara Falls in 2011 was 2.4 persons, significant decrease in comparison with the previous population census when the average size of family was 2.9 persons. Average income on family in 2006 was slightly higher than $61,000 a year. That is significantly lower than on average in Ontario, where revenue of family exceeded $69,000. In the city there were more than 400 single mothers and single fathers. The average salary on single-parent family was about $37,000. Less for mothers, more for fathers. That is slightly lower than an average provincial value. In the city there were about 2,800 unemployed, that made 6.2% of the efficient population aged 15 years or more senior. The vast majority of the working residents were engaged in the sphere of trade and service. Workers of agriculture, construction and industrial workers in total made about 18% of the total number of the busy population. About a third of the population is aged more senior than 15 years, has the higher education, college or the university, and about the same the finished secondary education. About 10% have secondary professional education. About 20% of the population of the city were born outside Canada, though most of them immigrated till 1991. Less than 8% of the population carried themselves to visible minorities. Asians, Black Africans, Latin Americans, Arabs and so forth. Representatives of indigenous people of North America made a little more than 1.5% of the total number of inhabitants. During the population census of 2001, more than 900 inhabitants Niagara Falls called themselves ethnic Italians. Also in the city lived more than 1,000 ethnic Germans, French and Irish, about 1,000 Poles and Netherlanders. In City Council, 8 deputies making decisions together with the mayor are elected. In 2010, Jim Diodati, before 2 terms being the member of city council was elected the mayor. Abundance of the cheap electric power made Niagara Falls in the first half of the 20th century the industrial center. However, economic downturn in the 1980s years led to outflow of investments. Now Niagara Falls, as well as in the past, is a primary branch of economy travel business. As the largest employers in the city, the Commission for Parks of Niagara and 2 big casinos of the international level opened in the 1990s and the beginning of the Ord Casino Niagara and Niagara Falls View Casino Resort Act. In the city, the numerous hotels and motels calculated on the most different level of income of clients in Niagara Falls function, and in close proximity to them additional tourist attractions were placed. Internationalization of tourism led to elimination of a cloth of one of the railroads running through the city, on which place the Niagara Falls View Casino Resort Hotel Casino was constructed. The downtown is still connected with other settlements, a branch of Canadian National Railway, and through his suburbs there pass ways of the Canadian Pacific Railroad and Norfolk Southern. Earlier developed industrial facilities fell into decay, or the companies producing food were closed, remained generally, including the numerous winemaking farms located in close proximity to the city. However, several factories making the transport equipment, chemicals and hardware continue to work. Culture and education. Being a tourist center, Niagara Falls pays much attention to development of attractions for tourists. To the north from the city, botanical gardens and a rearing cage of Niagara Park's butterfly conservatory are placed. In the southern part, Niagara Falls works the amusement park of Marineland, in the territory of which also the dolphinarium and a zoo are located. However, the Niagara Falls remain the main attraction of the city. From the Canadian coast of Niagara, the best view at the same time of the American and Canadian parts of Falls opens. For tourists, the embankment on which it is possible to reach the region of the Canadian Falls is arranged well. The tourist boats of the Maid of the Mist Company, operating since 1848. Bringing persons interested to the bottom of falls, regularly depart from piers at the Canadian and American coast of Niagara. Downstream Niagara, where the river forms a big natural whirlpool, the cableway allowing to consider this phenomenon from above is equipped. Also, helicopter excursions will be organized, and in the city the Tower of Skylon Tower, 160 meters high, which is also intended for the tourists wishing to examine falls from above, is constructed. In recent years, the downtown actively equips with modern conveniences, not only new hotels and casino, but also small amusement parks, e.g. Table Rock Welcome Center and wax museums and chocolate, panic room, restaurants of the known networks, including Hard Rock Cafe and Planet Hollywood, IMAX movie theater and the big covered water park open. Over the embankment, fireworks weekly are organized. In the winter in the city there takes place the Festival of Fires. Directly to Niagara Falls, the Niagara College branch, which head campus is located in the next Yolanda, is located. Also in close proximity to Niagara Falls in Brockville, Broca's University, and in the territory of Botanical Gardens of the Commission for Parks of Niagara, the Niagara Agricultural School, giving professional education in the field of gardening and forestry at the level of colleges placed. Several high schools and network of public libraries work in the city. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.